All right, so this is a little bit of a challenging spot. It took me forever to figure it out. This is a beaver flowage. Landowner was complaining the road is up there and the road kept getting flooded. They're breaking the dam and beavers would come up back and patch the dam back up and everything. So it took me a while, but I finally found the house. It's right here in a bunch of alder, just a big, huge flooded alder flat. The dam is way down there. Oh, I don't know, it's probably 75 yards down there. And it's really not much of a house. It didn't stand out much. You can see there's a little bit of a frost hole. There's something in there, obviously. The issue here, and something that you're going to want to think about when you're under ice beaver trapping, is you're going to have all kinds of different situations and conditions. And what happened here was we got some fall rain, had the water high, froze up, the water dropped. And then we got another rain this winter. We got about 1.5 to 2 inches of rain all at once. And everything kind of floated, the ice kind of floated up again. A bunch of it, I think, got kind of washed out by the running water, melted off, and then it refroze. And when it refroze, it formed this, as the water started to drop, there's kind of this ice bridge that I've been walking on. So the actual water level is a few inches, several inches below the ice, and the water has continued to drop. So I did a bunch of chopping here. You could see kind of the ice is floating. It's a pretty hazardous place if the water were any deeper, but it's so shallow. And it appears these beaver are not even going to the dam to patch it up. If they are, they're not doing it very often. I'm guessing there's only 1 or 2 beaver here. There's no feed pile that I can find anywhere. So I do find, there is feed, obviously. There's a stick there that they chewed up, and there's a few sticks in here by the house, and there's a few over there. So they're obviously kind of in here and hanging out, but I think the fact that there's all these alders here, they're probably relying on those to be able to stay fed through the winter, and it's got to be only 1 or 2 beaver, because there really isn't enough to keep a whole colony going here. So I did a bunch of chipping around, and I had a hard time finding any good runs because most of them, the water was so shallow, but I could find this area around the house where the beaver were coming out of the house. I can't tell exactly where without chipping all my walking space out, but I could see this is very active. There's a lot of sticks and stuff where they've been feeding, and so I opened that spot up. But that's way too shallow. I opened this spot up where they appear to be traveling through and feeding, and then that spot there. And what I'm going to do is make sets at all. I'm going to make 3 body grip sets. So I've got a 330 here, and this one is, I've just basically put it on one pole. This isn't always the best set, but for this situation, I thought it worked pretty good. And this is kind of going to be a blind set in this run, but since the beavers don't have a lot of feed here, and I don't know if they're how much they're moving back and forth on this run, they may be kind of going right on the edge in a place I haven't found yet. So I decided to put a piece of green aspen on one of the jaws there, for a little added attraction in case they're running, a foot away from here, 2 feet away from here. That may turn them and get them to come over to investigate and get caught in this 330. So that's one set there, and I actually did that on all 3 of these 330s. I set them up with a little bait stick on them for added attraction. So we'll come back and we'll set that, and I'll put a bunch of guide sticks around that to narrow down that area the beavers can travel. Here I've made a simple A-frame, so it's basically just a wire across the bottom of 2 dead sticks. Actually, there was a live fur, but beavers are not very interested in eating those. So I get that wire down below, and I get them attached up above. And so having that A-frame, it holds those 2 sticks tightly against the trap when the trap is set, and so it's really solid. It's great to set in a run. So that's what I'm going to do, and I've added a piece of aspen on the bottom jaw so that we get a little added bait attraction as well. So that's going to be where the beavers are coming right out of the house. Again, I don't know which direction they're moving, but I should be able to get them to go through that 330. And then I've got the same thing here. I've got kind of a similar A-frame wire down below, and a 330 set with a little bait stick, and then I'm going to wire that up together up above, and I'll set that in another run. So we'll have kind of 3 spots where there's, I don't know if they're really much for runs, but they're kind of troughs where the beavers seem to be moving through, and not just barely enough water to cover up the 330. But we'll set this up and we'll see. Maybe we'll pull out 1 or 2 beaver here.